Well, hello, everybody. I am so glad to be able to join you all at your conference of starting out your new venture and, working in your passion and your God given desire. That you be able to really take this idea and launch it. Well, I am Wanda Petty, Sister Soldier, and I am the nonprofit uh, president of the National Resource Society for Women Veterans. Actually, let me say that again. I am the president of the National Resource Society for Women Veterans, a nonprofit for women veterans to help them reintegrate and re-enter into society. I'm also the host of She That Inspires, a television show where I inspire the community of women who are making a transition in their careers and trying to figure out what they want to do. So I am a job creator and I enjoy so much with what I do. I wanted to talk to you today, and I just want to say thank you, Dr. Hill, for inviting me to be a part of this. I so wish that I could have been there with you all. However, I had another obligation, and so I'm consistently working on improving myself so that I could be better and be all that God wants me to be for those that I serve. And I encourage you to do the same. So I'm going to be specifically talking to you today about building your nonprofit and taking it to the next level. Being bodacious and creative in the space that you're in, and helping you to be able to find a new location once you begin to grow. We're going to talk about how you can prepare yourself for growth in your nonprofit, as well as how are we going to market your nonprofit. Consider those ways. I know we're so used to the traditional ways that many of us are not savvy with Facebook or with social networking, but it's time to begin to think differently. If you want to grow your nonprofit, you're going to have to think differently. So we're located in the Washington, D.C. area, and we've been in establishment for approximately 7 years now. And believe me, it has been a journey. I used to think that it was all going to happen just because I saw it and I felt it and I had a clear vision of where I wanted to go. At least I thought I did. That it was just going to just take off because, I was so excited and I had the energy to do so, and it didn't work that way. So I want to share with you today how you can take your nonprofit to the next level without the stress, without the anxiety, and have a plan and be able to move forward and not be worried about finances. So let's go. It won't take this long. It won't be I won't be with you long. So I suggest that you just stay a little bit focused and tuned. I don't know what happened to my what happened to my uh presentation here, but I don't know what happened. Okay, so without further ado, I won't pay attention to the missing photos of which I have placed on there. Although the photos that I have on the slide, and you'll get it in your, I'm sure you'll get a copy of this slide, but the photos that I have, it actually describes a lot of the things that we do at the National Resource Society for Women Veterans. We provide resources for women veteran and their families to be able to find suitable housing and adequate food. We connect with a lot of the community partners and partners around the nation in order to meet the needs of women veterans who are in our country. We provide many different services. We are connected to nonprofits who provide physical services, mental services, employment. whatever you think of, then more likely we connect with individuals around the country that can provide those needs, particularly things that veterans are in need of right now when they are making that transition from the military into the civilian lifestyle. We also work on career development. So we provide coaching. I have certified career development coaches that are on my team that on a monthly basis we have we do a call, which is our bridges program, bridging the gap between unemployment and um un, you know uh transition, so that they can be stable and be able to combat the mental challenges that they have. We also have, I overlook the veteran certification program. So I have nonprofit, not nonprofits, but small businesses that are veteran owned businesses that seek the counseling for getting their businesses verified. And I help bridge that gap by giving them the information that they need in order to get approved for their veteran owned business. And what I did in order to become certified, I had to contact the Center for Verification and let them know that I was interested in being a counselor and supporting the veterans. And they put me through a rigorous training, and I get updates, and therefore I can give them updates on what they need to do in order to get qualified or recertify their small business for being veteran service owned or veteran service disabled. We do a lot of training and development, such as we train realtors in order to understand the veteran community on how to help them when they're looking for housing. We connect them to the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, who help them to acquire their veteran home loan when they're about to purchase a home. So I didn't mention before, but I am a licensed realtor. I've been licensed for 10 years, and I am very familiar with commercial and residential properties. So all of that was the beginning of my venture of servicing veterans before I realized that this is really what I wanted to do. And so therefore I hold my license, but I refer a lot of the business out because this is my sole desire, is to focus on helping veterans to achieve their goals and their transition. So in the process of doing the training and development, we also service veterans who don't know what their benefits are. So I gather a lot of community and the VA and different resources within the community that can help them get out of the situation that they're in by helping them to understand their benefits, how to file their claims, and how to do resumes. The list can go on and on and on. But my main focus, again, all leads to sustainability and sufficiency for the women to be able to maintain their household and obtain an affordable a lifestyle, a job that is going to give them a pleasurable way of living without having to live in poverty. The second tier is I am a host of a television show named She That Inspires, and soon to be a nationally syndicated television show. And it shows and it airs on PBS in Fairfax, Virginia. And it also can be located on YouTube at www.shevettv. And if you look on there, and shevetinspires.com. So if you look on YouTube and just put in Shevet TV, you'll be able to find our show, and it'll help you if you run into any women veteran or any women overall that may be making a transition in their career. So I want to talk to you about making the space, finding the space when you are a new nonprofit and you're just up and coming and you're trying to find a location for your organization. A lot of nonprofits start out in their home, and that's okay. But you have to consider that when you are serving or starting up in your home, how are you going to serve those that you serve? And you don't want everybody coming to your house, because people are in various types of need and they will not forget where you live. So you really don't want them to come to your home. And if you have to meet with someone and you're servicing, you're set up in your home, then I would suggest that you maybe meet with them at Panera Bread or something of that nature. And sooner or later, that's going to get a little bit uncomfortable once you begin to meet with too many people, or it start escalating. You're going to decide, you're going to discover that you're going to need somewhere else to meet with them. So we're going to talk about that journey and those decisions that you're going to make, or you will need to make, or that you will face in order to grow. As I stated, starting in your home is fine, but you need to have a general location that you hold your meetings, or you hold your sessions, your training, or maybe it's not something that need to be in a general place all the time. It may be just maybe servicing the community with backpacks, and you can reach out to community partners or partner with another organization. It could be a restaurant, a school, or somewhere for you to be able to do the distribution of the backpacks. But for the most part, if you meet with someone, find a general location that is not a problem and you're not questioned all the time. You have the libraries, you have Starbucks, you have Panera Bread, that you can meet individuals for business purposes and not have to worry about them coming to your present residence. What you want to also think about is when you do begin to outgrow your space at home and you're having too many meetings and you realize that you need to meet with people at a general location, how are you going to be able to afford it? A lot of the times we think that because we have a nonprofit, the grants are going to be coming, but they're not going to come like that. It takes work. I've gotten several small grants, but it took me working first and getting the history of being able to have my nonprofit out there in the market and people knowing what we do before we were given any type of money or accreditation. So the work comes before the money. All right. So keep that in mind. You can begin having small fundraisers to be able to go towards your efforts, but know that the work comes before the money. Most people are not going to donate to you unless they know that you are a reputable nonprofit and that they can see some of the things that you're putting back out into the community. So think about how you're going to be able to afford that office. You may have to pay for it out of pocket. And if that's not affordable, then you have to begin to think of strategic ways that you can earn money and know your budget. So if you are paying out of your pocket, like myself, I got in a situation to whereas I did not expect to get my office as soon as I did, but God was doing something in his own way that I was not aware of. And it all worked out for my good in spite of the situation I found myself in. However, if you're going to plan to get an office, you're going to need to plan that. You're going to need to know your budget and stay within your budget, that if you cannot earn enough money or get enough donations at one point, that you're able to be able to pay for that space on your own out of your pocket. So create a budget, and stick to it and stay within your means, and talk to your pastor, talk to other nonprofits, and see how you may be able to share space. There are communities that have spaces for nonprofits that you can have a very minimal amount of rent that you have to pay. There are also virtual offices that you can use. Be creative. That those virtual offices may not even cost anywhere, depending on your location. It could be anywhere from $25 to $50 a month, maybe $75 on the high end. But even in the Washington, D.C. area, I've been able to locate one for $50. So find a virtual office if you have to, in order to meet your needs with the space and find an adequate meeting space for someone to meet you. Their names are such as Regis, You could just go on Google and look up virtual offices, and you should be able to find something. But I want you to be strategic when you're planning and be aware of your budget. Understand the difference between what a want is and what a need. Do you really need to go out and get an office, or do you just want to go and get an office? After you look at your budget, that will definitely tell you if you need to, then that means you need to go and begin to find ways to earn money that will help pay for that office. And if you don't need to and it's just a want, then it's going to also describe to you that you could want that want a little later. Okay. So be strategic, think about it, set a budget, and don't just try to be with the Joneses or be in the know, grow real big real fast, or appear. You do want to appear big, but you don't have to be like that and come out of your pocket in doing so. So know your customers. One of the ways to be able to get your funding and to work towards, your goals and get donations underway is to know your customers and their needs. Having a nonprofit is not an easy challenge. So if you're here today, that means you're serious about it and that you really want to learn, you want to get engraved in what it's about to be a founder of a nonprofit and to really be able to give back to the community. It comes from your passion, because there are going to be many days that the money is not going to be there, that people are not going to accept what you're saying, that you're going to need to hone in on who you're serving and what their needs are and be able to articulate exactly what it is that you need or want. If you can't do that, then it's going to make things more difficult. So that means you have to really be able to know what you want and who you're serving. I say that because it took me a minute to do that. So I'm speaking from experience in this aspect. So can you afford for the office location? I think we talked about that, pretty much, that if you can't afford it, then you have to find ways that you can. And in the meantime, find a strategic place to meet people and still be able to conduct a professional meeting. Consider your credit. So in all of this process, you're going to want to register your nonprofit in SAMS. Once you get your verification and affirmation letter from the IRS, you are a legitimate nonprofit. So that means you now have to start looking at developing your credit. Go and open up in lieu of having office space. But before you get the office space, let me back up. You can start out small by opening a small credit card through Office Depot or Staples and pay it off. Don't put any more on there than you can pay off, because the more you pay off on it and the higher you charge, the quicker you build up your credit. If it's just $30 a month, then they're not going to really consider that building up your business credit. If you are looking to go into a building, they're going to look for your credit. So if you don't have business credit, they're going to start looking at your personal credit. So it's time to pay attention to that. You also want to register your nonprofit in SAMS, because that's going to be where your credit report and everything will begin to be developed. How are you going to sustain making the payments for your office once you get into your office? If you find an office, if you have a virtual office, I say start out small. You don't have to start out unless you get a huge grant. You've been working your nonprofit for a while and you get a huge grant that is going to fund you and personnel. Then now you're ready and prepared to be able to go out and find a larger office. And don't go it alone. Find a commercial realtor. So if you're looking for a office space, all right, you're looking for the office space and now you're saying it's time for me to look, go and find a realtor. And you're going to need to scope out that realtor. Ask them questions, how much per square foot? How long is my obligation? What does the contract look like? Have them go over that contract with you thoroughly. And don't just go and get a normal realtor. And when I say normal, I mean a residential realtor. residential realtors do not understand, not all of them understand the process of commercial real estate. You really need to get a realtor that can help you go through this process. Yes, they make a lot of money, but it's not your concern to be concerned about what they're going to make, because you're not the one that is going to pay them. It's the actual listing agent. The one who has the property is the one who compensates that commercial realtor. Okay, so be sure you understand the contract and that you go and get a commercial realtor if you're going into a commercial property. I'm not talking about a virtual office doesn't require a commercial realtor because it's only $50 a month. But if you're going into somewhere where you have to pay a couple of hundred or several hundred, $1,000 a month, you really need to have someone that understands that contract. So don't just go to the company and ask them to represent you, because it's a twofold. That means that they're representing both parties, and naturally they're going to have the best interest out for their owner of that property. All right. So build your credit, build your credit, build your credit. You don't want to go it alone. Get the commercial realtor, and then you're going to need a commercial attorney. If you don't understand the process still, go to a commercial property attorney, and they will either help you make that move or purchase that building. You really, really want to understand what it will take in order for you to be able to be successful. One of the ways that you can begin looking for a property and assist your realtor and kind of get an idea of what you want prior to going out and making the search is going online to loopnet.com. LoopNet has a plethora of commercial properties, and it will even have some blogs on there that will explain to you the process of purchasing commercial property. Don't be afraid to go on Google and research. Researching through Google will be your best friend and the best word of wisdom that I can give you when you're making that move. Before you sign that contract, you want to make sure that you understand, because once you are in a bind with a commercial property contract, it's not easy to get out of. It's not if you put a deposit down, you may not get that deposit back. Make sure that everything that you want done to that building, if it needs to have a wall moved, if it needs to have a wall removed, if it needs to have tile placed down, carpet cleaned, new plumbing, you make sure that all of that is in that contract. It's very imperative, because you don't want to get into the building that you are paying for on a monthly basis and it's not workable. So make sure that it will work and that you have everything outlined that you need to make your building work for you before you sign the contract. So it's not a fast process. It takes anywhere from 6 to 8 months in order to process, 6 to 18 months. So have the patience, have patience. You're going to need to be able to be patient and consider that this is not a residential property that you're moving into, and it's a lot of legal work that goes into it. You may be able to find a donated building. Look into the newspaper to see if there are donated buildings that you can access. Go on Craigslist and see who may have a donated building that they're looking to give away for you to be able to move in. Be creative and be aware of what you're spending on your finances when you make that move. So the Department of Urban, I'm trying to think of the name of it. I didn't put it all here for. The Department of Agriculture has a low-cost loan plan for nonprofits. So be sure to check with your lender to make sure that they will, you know, be able to offer that. Find out how you can qualify for their low interest rates on their loans so that you can, if you're interested in building getting a building, and your commercial realtor can help you with that. Okay. So we're going to get into helping others find you. How are you going to help? How are you going to be located? How are people going to find you and being able to make your nonprofit known so that people can know that you even exist? You need to have creative marketing plans in place so that you can be able to, people can find you in places that they did not, that they would least expect. You want to be creative. You want to be able to make sure that people all over in your local area, in your general area, can find you and that they know exactly what you do. So, especially if you're in an urban area, you want to make sure that you reach those people who are in most need of your product. That means that you may need to have flyers created. You could go to gotprint.com and they could print flyers for you at a really, really affordable rate. And we're going to go over that some more in the next few slides. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go social. I know that more often than not, we're not, we're not Facebook savvy, so, or social savvy, but having a Facebook account or a social account on LinkedIn or Twitter will really help other people to be able to find you and know what you do. If you're not Facebook savvy or social network savvy, then you'll want to have go to the high school and get one of the teenagers or someone to be able to to be able to go on and keep your account current so that they can put out the news tweets of things that are going to be taking place that you have going on in your nonprofit. So it's really simple to be able to start a Facebook page, and I'm sure you'll be able to do that really quickly. So I want you to also put your nonprofit on the Google directory. In order to be found when people Google you, all you have to do is go into Google and look in their directory and it says get found. And so when you do that, once you have that location, I'm not talking about putting your residential address in Google for your nonprofit. This is why I say that you may want to invest into a virtual space so that you can be found and people can find you, and they'll really feel like there is a legitimate organization out here helping people. Have a simple but an informative website. All you need is 3 pages, really. It's a welcome page, an about page, and a contact page. Make sure that you have a way for people to contact you. Don't have don't have a website where there's no contact information on there, your email, and a number that they can reach out to you. Donors do not care to donate to anything that they don't feel that people can find out about. So make sure that your website is able to be located and that people can literally find you of where you are. Make sure you tell everybody. When you go to church, when you go out and you meet people, when you go to networking events, you want to make sure that you let them know that you are a nonprofit and that you're serving people in your community. Okay? One of the main things that I do, and I started doing this when I was in real estate, and it helped me so much. Happened to every October, I begin to plan for January. So my year literally begins to be planned for in October, and I begin the process of it so that by the time January comes, I'm already in the momentum of things. I take time out about a week and I go and I create a retreat. If you have your board members, you may want to include them in this. If they don't have the time and they can't take the time out to go away with you, then I suggest that you sit down, you set aside or take a weekend and go somewhere where you can really think and that you're by yourself and you can plan out what you want your year to be like, activities. Just to be an effective nonprofit, you really only have to have four main events or four events that take place in a year in order to be considered someone that people would like to invest in. So that means outreach events. That means if you're putting on an event, we have an expo that we do, a resource expo that we do annually for the women, and we call together our community partners and they bring forth the things that they offer, and the women can visit each table, each vendor, and get what they need, as well as training takes place at that time. So that's one of my annual events. And every year around May or June, the first part of June, the last part of May, that event can be expected to take place in my organization. So I have several like that, and I encourage you to do the same. So you want to plan out those events on a calendar. And I like to take a 10-month calendar and I place what I need to do, and then I line up what needs to take place in order to make that happen. And so you want to start your marketing way out. That means, when before an event takes place, you don't want to wait till it's 30 days out or even 90 days. If you can start putting it out 6 months in advance, then now you're ahead. So that means 6 months in advance, people can come to your website and see what you have going on. People can get the cards, the flyers that you have. You can contact the radio, you can contact the schools, you can contact the churches, and just really get the word out about what it is that you're doing, how you're going to be of service, and those who need to be there. So help others find you by being creative. So create your annual plan and get the word out through the newsletters, and have a monthly newsletter, a quarterly newsletter. As much as you can stay in contact with your constituents, the people who you serve, and those who are your community partners, and people who are connected through you as donors. You want to send them out a newsletter to let them know that, hey, we're here, we're live, we're live. So you want to make sure that you have something that you could send out to them and that's tangible. Collect the stories and pictures. Take pictures of what goes on at the events that you are attending so that you can have proof. Because if you don't have proof that you are doing this, then it's really difficult for them to really believe. I say that visuals, people want to see visuals. The more you could say all you want to, but if you don't have proof, and that's the only way to capture that moment, is to do it by photograph or video, and then you put that on your website or you put it on YouTube, and then you guide people to where to find it. Have your business cards. Make sure that your business cards and your website match. So if you have a logo, make sure you have your logo on your on your website and on your business cards. Make sure that everything is synced. So what you're doing is you're branding that and embedding it into their memory. And when they see that, oh, you know what, I've seen this before, I remember meeting that founder or the board member or such and such, and it'll begin to make a mark in your area of where you are. So that's so important. So it doesn't have to grow fast. I said all of this just to let you know that your nonprofit may start out small. It doesn't have to grow fast, but it just has to grow. And those are the measures that you should take in order to get found, to let people know what you do. When I first started out, I had the nonprofit, and I had the ideas of how I was going to serve my community. And then the next thing I knew, as the more I walked and the more I started focusing in and enjoying and finding out what worked and what didn't work, I kind of narrowed it down to I really, really wanted to focus on career development. And in the process of that, I began to look for more other organizations who does training. I looked for more ways of training, more ways of offering certifications. And then the next thing I knew, I had a burning and a desire to be able to put it on the internet and do some form of television show. My thought was that I was going to do a YouTube show, but God had another plan for me, and it started out with that. And it started out with me just sharing with another young lady at my church that I had a desire to have a television show, and I really felt that I could do this. And she was elated because she had just became a producer. So because my idea was a God-given idea, it she we got together and we did the recording. It took 2 years in the making. Okay, I thought it was gonna like boom, 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 take place like that and be done with, but it didn't work that way. And what happened was we did the previews, we submitted the paperwork, and the next thing we knew, 2 years later, when I was beginning to think that it wasn't going to happen and that it was going to be just a YouTube show only, it ended up being a television show. They wanted us to come on PBS. For real? Yes. So I'm just so excited that now we have She That Inspires on television. And what it showed me was that it brought it full circle. And I really don't believe that it's done yet, but the impact that it will have on a larger scale is so much a better way of serving my tribe. And when I say my tribe, I mean those that I serve who have a like mind, who have a need, who have the desire to do the things that I offer in my nonprofit. So, with that being said, it took it to a whole nother level. So, I not only have my nonprofit, I have my training, I have the portal for connecting them to employers, but now I have a platform of a television show to be able to catapult that and present it to them in a way that I didn't even expect. So I say that so you can stay encouraged, because don't think that it's going to become like the Red Cross overnight where everybody know who you are. It doesn't work that way. It's the small things that you do. Just be faithful to the little and watch it grow. And one day at a time, one person at a time is all that it takes in order for you to get your nonprofit to serving the people that you have been called to serve. So if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, but you have been called for such a time as this. And so I want to have you really be patient, be prayerful about what you are doing, and don't get discouraged. Stay connected to people who are in the nonprofit circle. Connect with those in your community who are nonprofits. And if there are no organizations that are connecting nonprofits together in your local area, I know that Dr. Hill has this put together for you now. But if there's nowhere that you can connect, you create it. You create it. And that's the thing about this, you have been given this vision by God, and it doesn't mean that because it's not working the way you thought it was, or that the plans are not coming into play the way you thought it was, that it's not going to work. And sometimes you have to revisit and you have to omit. So if it's not working, you just go back and you re-strategize and you find out if it's really fitting, and find out where you're going with this. What is your intention? Always be intentional. And when you're intentional, one step in front of the other will lead you and it'll guide you to where you're supposed to be going. And you'll be walking in your purpose. You'll be walking into your destiny and you'll be fulfilling the will of God like you never, ever imagined. And, that's what I'm doing today. It all started out because I had a vision, I had a dream, and I had someone to support me. I had a mentor, Dr. Hill, and she stayed with me. She really helped me to hone in. You have a gem in your hand right now. So take advantage of it and listen to what she has to say because she has a plethora of ideas. She has a plethora of resources and connections that can really help you grow and make a mark on this earth that cannot be erased. So you're making a mark and you're leaving a legend for your family and helping people that will help others in the long run. So you never know the impact that you're having by just touching one person's life. Right now I have a training program that I partnered with one of my board members who has a project management company, and she's donated two seats for women to attend her classes throughout the remaining of the year. And I'm just so grateful for that because I am now having the opportunity to change the lives of women who are living under standard. They've been insufficiently living financially. And by them being able to acquire a project management certification can really escalate their income to whereas them and their children will be able to have a sustainable lifestyle, one that they are familiar with and one that they can continue to go after and thrive and be progressive in society. And that's what it's about. It's taking people to the next level and not always looking for accolades, but just doing what the will of God is for your life. You be in position so that they can get in position. Everybody is just waiting on you. So don't worry about the minute things or complain. Just do it. That Nike saying, just do it without complaining, and do it with gratitude, and do it through prayer so that you can be guided and that you can know that you're on the right track. Because when you stay close to God and he continues to guide you in what you're doing, there's no regrets and there's no apologies about what you've done, and there's no mistaking. Nothing that you can't get over, because maybe you may not have done it the right way, but it doesn't mean that you weren't supposed to do it. So I just want to encourage you in that, just to be filled with kindness and, gladness and, you know, gratefulness. And remember that Rome wasn't built in a day. Don't kill yourself trying to look good, because you're not going to be able to keep up with the Joneses. And half the time, those people are not who they appear to be anyway. I found that out. God had to tell me, why are you concerned with that? Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Don't look to the left and don't look to the right. Proverbs 3:4 says, focus on the word. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding. That means don't look to the left and don't be concerned about what's at your right, because none of it is concerning you. It's what's straight ahead. What's straight ahead. All right. So do that and be in excellence. These are a few tools that I wanted to bring to your attention that you can get to help build your nonprofit, to make awareness. It's Get Response. They have a program. It costs $15 a month. However, they reduce it, or maybe it's $17 or $20 a month for you to have access. And if you submit your affirmation in your letter from the IRS, they will give it to you for $15 a month. And you can really, really get a lot of work done and reach a lot of people by having an online newsletter, and be able to reach people who are looking to hear from you electronically. MailChimp is the same thing. So if you don't have the $15 a month, use MailChimp. It's for free. It can help you build your newsletters and send out notices. It even works with Eventbrite when you're scheduling your events. Um, WordPress is a free website. Not all of them are easy to build, so I suggest that maybe you go on Fiverr. It may cost you $5. It might cost you $80 to get someone to build you a really nice website. Or you can join some nonprofit coalitions that have websites that they build for you. And there's many ways for you to be able to get your marketing done, and the resources that are there for people to assist you in doing it. So be on the watch, have an outstretched neck, and looking for opportunities that you can get that are cost free or little or reduced money for you to be able to participate and really stand tall while you're climbing the ladder. Go to Google, and Google can also allow you. You could set up, if you have your 501c3 status. You can go to Google and they will give you a free Google Works, but it's called Google for Nonprofits. That means you'll have emails, you'll have unlimited up to 200 emails that you won't have to pay for. You can even build a website on there. You can use all of their AdWords and things of that nature for free. They have scholarships for that, and it'll help you be able to manage your nonprofit at an affordable rate. TechSoup.com, I'm sure you may hear about that more today, where you can get technology for discounted rates or free. And that will also help you to be able to, make your mark in this world that, people will know what you do. Okay. Well, this is at the end of my slides, and I really want to say thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity to spend time with you today, and to let you know that we are here and that you could reach out to me. I did the same thing. I made a boo-boo, and I will make sure I incorporate it on the side, the slides, so that when you get a copy of these slides, that it will have the correct information in there. I did exactly not what I told you to do, and that is to brand. So I neglected to put on my contact information, and you can reach out to me at info@n as in Nancy, R as in Romeo, S as in Sam, W as in woman, V as in veteran, .org. And that is info@nrswv.org. That is an email that I receive my emails on. Our phone number is 301-322-3438 or 3480. Again, this is Wanda Petty, your job creator and your career strategist. And I just want to let you know that you can do this. You can do this. Your host from She That Inspires want to wish you great success. Go out and make a difference, because the world is waiting for you to manifest. Bye.